Awful. I'll be right back. Oh, that's better. A wise man once said, "No half measures." That's the way I feel about music and pretty much any creative endeavor in my life. We're on the last few days of the Kickstarter for High Five Spaceship's second full-length album, Pathfinder. It's been a mad 30 days. It's been, intense for a lot of reasons. A lot of it having nothing to do with music, of course, because I do other things. You know me, I do too many things. Now that the Kickstarter is coming to the close, I can now get on with the next phase of things. Because, as I said in a couple of interviews this week, which I can link you to if you want to read more detail, Kickstarter is the first part of an ongoing process that takes at least a year. The production part of Pathfinder has barely begun, but also the marketing and the pressing and the business side of things has barely begun. And I, as the producer, director, whatever of the project, need to be on top of things. There are all kinds of things that go into a successful music launch that have nothing to do with the music. And in fact, I'm going to be working on a big podcast about all of this at some point in the future, for those of you who want to get down and dirty. I did the first of a series of amazing photo shoots with a photographer friend called Phil, and that gave me material that I could tweet and Instagram about, but also press photos that I could send to magazines. I did a couple of interviews for blogs and online magazines, and I'm going to be rebuilding the website. I've updated the Soundcloud, which you should go follow if you're a Soundcloud person. I've generally spent a lot of my time this month working on the infrastructure of High Five Spaceship. The music, people listening to that music that we make, is the end goal. But in order to reach those people, there are so many layers to what you need to build. Fascinating and exhausting and fascinating. And I love it. In the spirit of no half measures though, on the creative side of things, I bought this massive book about mixing because I want to get better at audio mixing. I'm going to read this tome from cover to cover, and then I will know everything. I plan to stay up many late nights poring over this book with a highlighter. Like any art, music production is subjective, but technical understanding, the kind that you find in big books like this, is absolutely invaluable. And this will probably end up being the most important investment of the entire project. When it comes to music, at least for me, going all the way means sometimes knowing when to be a sponge. The Kickstarter is almost over. We are committed to making this album. And for me, the first step of that process is taking a step back, reading, listening, learning from the greats, making sure that the me that produces this album is better at it than the me that produced the last one. Of course, if you're interested in supporting this album in any way and getting in on the ground floor while the going is good, there is a link to the Kickstarter in the description below. It's running for another 3 days. There are lots of exclusive things, including access to the private backer blog. I also opened up another slot on the very top reward. And our sexy electroacoustic guitar, signed by everyone who works on the project, is still up for grabs. We're also announcing a new collaborator today. He's pretty obscure. You probably haven't heard of him. This will be the last time I talk about the Kickstarter, I promise. You go click that link and I will go and read my mixing book.